Autonomous technology has entered our daily lives in thousands of ways, oftentimes in ways that we aren't able to perceive. So what is autonomous technology? Drones, airplanes, and newly developed self-driving cars are just some of the examples of technology that already are, or otherwise will soon be, part of our lives. However, as safe and fail-proof that these machines seem to be, the world's leading scientists and technology giants seem to have trouble with the whole concept and the whole artificial intelligence that lies under it. But is there really a good genuine fear to be had with this new technology? This climax features Eric Liu, Brian Sung, Timothy Chen, and Shahir Rizwan.
First introduced by Google in 2005, the self-driving car has become a major issue of controversy in the technological realm. Since then, 4 states and the District of Columbia have passed legislation that permits self-driving cars on the roads. But many experts and citizens, like Mr. Chen, express concern over the implementation of such new technology due to many political, social, and economic reasons. However, enthusiasts such as Eric Liu feel differently. Today, they meet to argue the issue on an international platform.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here to talk with you. However, I don't expect to be here long. Autonomous technology is not something for today. You and I both know that. Yes, it is a great idea for the future, but has no place in current society.
No, I don't exactly know that. On the other hand, autonomous technology is for both the present and the future. New advances in autonomous technology indicate a huge boom in the range of possibilities for the human race. Why do you believe that staying conservative in your ideals towards technology will be of greatest benefit to society?
Blah, blah. Because it simply has no rule in society. Currently, major key alert. Currently.
And why is that?
You are talking about an economic flip, an enormous one. Years of infrastructure and progress thrown away for something premature and uncertain.
Structural unemployment is a necessity in order to advance an economy. Would you rather we continue to use telegraphs and candles?
No, I would just rather not put human dependence on radical technology, gigantic corporations, and Decepticons.
Yet we have already placed our faith in technology. Every day, thousands of people continue to fight for their lives with the help of medical equipment. Every day, millions of people use cars in order to continually make their own lives easier. However, many of those people die while using cars due to the natural fault of humans. Human error has resulted in more car crashes than we can imagine. Self-driving cars can eliminate the 1.3 million deaths every year from automobile accidents.
Eliminate? That's extremely absurd and unscientific. There are only 33,000 auto deaths that occur annually due to human driving error. And for autonomous cars to become a national phenomenon, there has to be a cohesive set of rules and regulations governing the technology. Or else, a self-driving car leaving one state could suddenly find itself banned in the next.
What are you talking about? 33,000 people is still a huge number. That is still an immense amount of avoidable deaths. However, you forget that the US is not the only country in the world. The 33,000 deaths that you mentioned in the article only encompasses American citizens. In any matter, a life saved is a life earned. And drastically fewer deaths each year from auto accidents would be a huge step forward.
And do autonomous cars guarantee saving lives? Especially as of now. And that is assuming if everyone can afford an autonomous car. What, a self-driving Prius? A Prius is priced at $320,000. The only time anyone buys a Prius is when your job is to babysit Eric Liu, your next door neighbor, and you want to save gas.
In effect, yes, it does guarantee a life saved. Although I admit we cannot reduce the amount of automobile deaths to zero, we can save as many lives as we can. Consider this scenario. If you had the choice of killing one person or 10, which option would you take?
One person.
Yes, and the self-driving car minimizes the loss of life in this way. In this scenario, through some series of unfortunate events, the car is on a collision course with 10 people on a crosswalk. There are 2 scenarios to consider. Either A, the car can barrel through the innocent people, killing 10 people, or B, the car can drive into a nearby wall with a chance of killing 1. A self-driving car will most likely make the decision to save lives and drive into a wall. On the other hand, a selfish driver in a regular car may decide to cause unnecessary loss of life through her or his decision to kill 10 people. In this way, we can reduce loss of life drastically.
Now you are sounding crazy. What a hypocritic utilitarian. You wish to change a bundle of legislation, introduce a bunch of new regulations, and disrupt the lives of millions, or billions if you are addressing the world, so someone can afford a $320,000 car, can minimize risk while driving? And tell me, whose responsibility is it when a self-driving car crashes?
Although the idea of causing death may excite you, it horrifies me. In the rare event that a self-driving car crashes, the proper analysis will be made to see whether the stand-in driver, the second party, or the program is at fault. Although this technology may cause an outbreak of new regulation, the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages. If we are to compare this to history, when regular cars were first introduced, they were expensive to purchase. However, as time progressed, it became a commodity that everyone could use and appreciate. The billions of people in the world that you previously mentioned will eventually benefit from the technology and at an affordable price.
Keyword: will. Maybe in 2035, this isn't a topic for today. Self-driving cars aren't affordable, as we know, but also they do not guarantee safety. Just a few days before we met, a Tesla crashed into an apartment. What normal cars with sensible people crash into buildings on a regular basis? Even Kim Kardashian doesn't drive into an apartment. We're not ready to put our lives in the hands of these faulty machines. You are fighting against me alone on this one. JK, you are fighting against everyone else. Top scholars and political figures.
What about the cars without sensible people? I don't claim to have all the answers on how to approach regulations towards self-driving cars, but putting our lives into machines that are nearly perfect is a far better bet than entrusting our lives to far less perfect beings. However, there are precautions that we can undertake in order to minimize small loss of life from autonomous accidents. For example, we can make sure a qualified driver is at the wheel in case of malfunction and make laws ensuring redundancy in crash protection systems. These policies will have to be revised and revisited, but the autonomous vehicle is an invention that must be pursued.
The challenge of autonomous technology is a complex one with many solutions. Concerning self-driving cars, there are many problems involved that must be addressed, including weather, interaction with normal cars, price, and safety. During inclement weather, the Department of Transportation could require drivers to pay more attention to the road than they would usually give to a self-driving car. In addition, an established communication system between self-driving and regular cars should be implemented in order to ensure both safety on the road and a steady flow of information between vehicles. Lobbyists from tech giants such as Google and Tesla has brought the issue to Congress and Capitol Hill. However, minimal effort has been made to change the current situation. Congress continues to deny that autonomous technology is a serious challenge to be dealt with. As of the current situation, any legislation on autonomous technology still waits for time on the floor of Congress. However, it is clear that large amounts of regulation must be considered in order to fully ensure safety among drivers and fair practices among companies. Private transportation companies such as Uber and Alamo must be placed under close inspection. As of the current situation without regulation, what stops them from making a larger profit margins by using lower quality autonomous vehicles, or skipping maintenance on autonomous vehicles to save on repair costs? Therefore, private transportation companies must submit to monthly government inspections in order to prove their continued dedication towards safety. In addition, autonomous vehicles either used or rented must be supervised with an experienced driver with a valid driver's license. In case of inclement weather or severe conditions, a driver must be available in order to guide the vehicle, stressing a potential need for driving experience in order to purchase an autonomous vehicle. Those vehicles should have registered owners in order to make sure no autonomous vehicles are borrowed or given to inexperienced drivers. The policy has potential drawbacks. The cost of sending government inspectors to private companies and additional oversight on registration of autonomous vehicles may accumulate. In addition, those who buy autonomous vehicles may break the law by lending out their vehicles to friends and family. Additional costs may be incurred in order to enforce those new laws. However, This new policy ensures that self-driving cars will continue to be a safe and innovative technology. Transportation companies will also be discouraged from taking shortcuts regarding safety and autonomous technology. Although the policy allows self-driving cars to take the road, people may be discouraged from buying autonomous cars because of the safety regulations. In addition, private transportation companies may attempt to raise prices in order to pay for extra costs, further discouraging potential customers. Overall, technology continues to rapidly grow, but legislation has yet to keep up. Wow, Shahir, that date was really something, you know? You know, all this talk about autonomous technology really got me thinking. About drones, you know? Unmanned aerial vehicles, they're really something, you know?
Yeah, they really are something. I actually hold pretty strong convictions regarding drones. In fact, I think that drones should be outlawed. They present ethical and humanitarian issues.
Really, Shahir? I think you've been really biased by, you know, the big headlines that say drones kill civilians.
I don't think so,
Yeah,
Brian.
that mainstream media really has changed your opinions, you know? I think drones should be, you know, they're really something good.
Really, Brian?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
we should debate it.
Brian, we definitely should debate.
We should debate it.
Brian, the fact of the matter is, while those headlines are exaggerated, they do have a core of truth. Indeed, drones do kill civilians. Too many, in fact. In particular, looking at a set of leaked classified data from October of 2015 from the CIA, during a 5-month period in Afghanistan, 90% of those killed in drone strikes are not the intended target. Additionally, many drone operators have little to no knowledge in terms of who they're trying to kill. In many cases, the CIA can't even conclude the true identity of their victims.
However, you said that data was over a 5-month period. 5 months! That's just a really small data set, and that's some serious misconstruing of the data, Shahir, where many factors could have been at play during that time. That could have been a house of 5 people, where 4 were not the intended target. If we take a look at a more general overview of drone usage, as we should, such as in Pakistan, where the most civilians have been killed by drone strikes, only 19% of those killed were civilians. In fact, drones, when compared to traditional military tactics, have a lower civilian casualty rate. In a US invasion of Iraq, as of April 2015, 165,000 civilian deaths are associated with the war, while only 20,289 military combatant deaths are occurred. That's an 8-to-1 ratio of civilian deaths to military combatant deaths in the traditional war setting.
Ryan, I feel like you're just avoiding the topic. Looking at a large-scale study of drone strikes, between 8 and 17% of drone casualties include civilians. While traditional types of war do indeed take many types of lives, these drone strikes do impact civilian populations. They also have another effect. The Bureau of Investigative Journalism states that drone strikes affect surrounding populations through an element of fear. Having drones hover your house 24/7 is not conducive to the prosperity of your people. So, as a result, many live in fear of being killed at any time, and as such, kids are too terrified to go to school, adults are too afraid to attend weddings, funerals, business meetings, or anything else that involves gathering in groups. Drones themselves act as a form of terrorism.
Drones are terrorists? Shahir, open your eyes. Take a glance at where the drones operate. Look at drone-patrolled countries: Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq. These are places where major terrorist cells and frankly dangerous individuals operate. In fact, I would argue that the civilians in these active war zones only fear drones because of a lack of education. They do not realize how effective these drones are, and how much more devastating traditional military tactics and occupation are, as shown by what I said before with the statistics. Besides, drones are completely ethical for our military to use because we remove human pilots from great dangers. If we replace drone usage with fighter pilot strikes, all the same factors will be at play in addition to the risk of losing American military lives. Therefore, drone usage proves majorly beneficial to the US military, as we uphold American lives over those in foreign countries, as we should.
Ethical. Ryan, are you serious right now? The remote nature of drone strikes is exactly why I question its ethics. It removes the US and all of its citizens from the realities of war. The human life, seen simply as sorts of blips on a monitor, makes operators psychologically removed from the situation. As such, these operators face emotional battles on their own side. The dehumanized nature of drone battles leads to these psychological issues. For example, operators like Colonel Brenton, who have spied over the lives of many native populations, he says that he feels no emotional attachment to the enemy. I quote, I have a duty and I execute the duty. No one in my immediate environment is aware of anything that has occurred. So based on that operator's testimony, you can see that these people are just detached from their actions. They escape the realities of the situation. On top of that, this detached nature makes it very easy for the US to extend military conflicts.
So, you talk about the psychological attachment and mental toil. What about the stress on the pilots and US service members that would otherwise fly manned fighter jets into these war zones? After the Gulf War and multiple US incursions into the Middle East, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, became a major issue that the US has striven incredibly and taken many steps to alleviate. Do you wish to induce PTSD, a life-changing mental disorder, on even more service members? Drones are a simple and practical solution to provide direct relief and benefit to the mental health of US armed forces. If you keep arguing about the dehumanizing nature of drones, you might even give me PTSD.
Ryan, PTSD is inevitable in any form of war. The fact of the matter is that drone strikes are not only unethical, but that these unethical government acts are being kept hidden from the general population, just to avoid scrutiny. Look at drone strikes by the CIA. They're classified as covert operations, and as such, they avoid the legal oversight that typically comes with government action. The CIA has not officially declared their drone strikes, and they do not easily provide information to Congress unless they deem it appropriate on their own standards. They purposely avoid the scrutiny of human rights groups, and they avoid this accountability by simply hiding information from the public. How can you reconcile this, Brian?
Okay, Shahir. So, while it is true drone strikes are very secretive, that is the nature of their operation. If the terrorists knew where the drones were all the time, they would be useless.
Is it, Brian?
Yes, it is. You know there's always classified and confidential information in the public, right? They exist for a reason. So the terrorists cannot find out where these drones are and just make our efforts useless in the US military. More importantly, they are not completely devoid of oversight and accountability like many people, like yourself, believe. President Obama and Congress have worked towards developing cost-effective, reasonable, and coherent solutions towards monitoring drones, and our government has not turned a blind eye. You can't ignore this. Nonetheless, no one can deny the effective results that drones produce.
Really, Brian?
Yeah. When you send a drone out, when it targets a terrorist information, a terrorist, a guy who will come and kill American lives, when his information and his location has been acquired, an unmanned drone can be sent out quickly, at no risk to an American serviceman's life, an American pilot's life. And the drone, piloted by American service members who are safe back home in our country, will go out and kill that terrorist, potentially saving the lives of numerous innocent citizens around the world. You cannot deny these drones' impacts and the effects they have.
Brian, please, have some respect. The fact of the matter is, there are people like you in this world who do not like our drones.
So what?
And for those typical people who are against our drone policy,
Nice shades.
there's a certain consequence that they would have to face, Brian.
What do you mean by this consequence?
My friend, Brian, the fact of the matter is, you are not the person that I thought you to be, and as such, you must face the consequences.
This is just a debate!
It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know what happened with the D.R.E. Yeah. You know the West Coast is back for all you suckers.
The issue surrounding regulation and moderation of drones and their usage has also proved extremely difficult to control with legislation, primarily due to the incredibly rapid speed of technological development and the political pressure of the military-industrial complex. Not much comprehensive legislation has been passed. Obama and Congress have made some attempts at controlling drone policy, such as introducing the Drone Aircraft Privacy and Transparency Act of 2015. However, nothing has passed as of 2016. Upon entering office, Obama attempted to call attention to drone legislation and regulation. In 2013, he amended and refined drone policies surrounding how the US operates drones, using language such as near certainty that the terrorist target is present in order to permit a strike. However, all of this is still very vague, as near certainty can mean anything from a confirmed testimony to a t-shirt on the laundry line that says, "I am a terrorist." On top of this, Obama actually waived some of these regulations with drone strikes in Pakistan, Yemen, and Afghanistan. As a result, his policy does not actually make any comprehensive measures on limiting the usage of military drones. Additionally, any legislation or order controlling current drone technology will become outdated extremely quickly. Drones are becoming increasingly complex and even self-automated, and any legislation Congress attempts to pass will always lag behind current developments. One suggested solution involves creating a specialized agency to monitor drones, using bureaucratic discretion and specialization to keep up with new sciences. However, this would be very difficult to implement, and is still at risk of corruption and non-transparency. Thus, the final question remains for the entirety of the autonomous technology field. How should the rapid growth of automated technologies be dealt with?